بسم الله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. Inshallah, today we're continuing with our talk, which is the biography of the four great jurists, and we're still talking about the first jurist, who is Imam al-A'zam, Imam Abi Hanifa al-Nu'man ibn Thabit. We have been talking yesterday about his relation with the Amir al-Mu'mineen, Abu Ja'far ibn Mansur, who was in Baghdad, one of the Umara or Khulafa of Bani al-Abbas. And today we'll continue on the same theme. Of course, Abu Hanifa was not liked that much by Abu Ja'far, even though he was respecting him, because Abu Hanifa would never keep quiet on something which is not right. And we narrated yesterday when he wanted to give a ruling to go and attack the people in Mosul, he disqualified the argument, and Al-Mansur accepted, and he told him, Ya Sheikh, we will follow your qawl, al-qawlu qawluk, but just go back to Kufa so that people are not incited. Now the closer group also who are with Abu Hanifa also use not to talk with the Amir, with the Khalifa, they also use not to like Abu Hanifa. Because if he, for one reason or the other, shows some fault with the leadership of the Khilafah, it means also those who support him are also on the wrong. So there was always that problem, and today we will dwell quite a bit on that. Abu al-Abbas al-Tusi was one of those people who was very close in the house of al-Mansur, running quite a number of affairs. So one day, he wanted to bring in a fatwa which would put Abu Hanifa into trouble with the Khalifa. And this is what these people used to do. We saw yesterday that somebody tried the same, and Abu Hanifa managed to escape it and put the blame back to the person who brought the argument. And today, you can see what type of argument, and these are arguments in the fiqh. They are interesting for talib al-ilm to see how much these people are learning and how smart they are to live in the environment which they don't agree 100%, but they try to see if they can escape, they do. If not, he will remain firm, as we're going to see. So Abu al-Abbas al-Tusi used not to like Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa was called to the place of Abu Ja'far, and there were so many people that day. فقال الطوسي, that is Abu al-Abbas al-Tusi, today, of course by himself, I'm going to make sure that I put Abu Hanifa into the problem so that he can be killed or something like that. When Abu Hanifa came and Amir al-Mu'mineen was there, he said, إن أمير المؤمنين يأمر الرجل منا بضرب عنق الرجل. Amir al-Mu'mineen, sometimes he commands one of us to kill a man because of the verdict that Amir al-Mu'mineen has already done. لا يدري ما هو. Some of us, we don't know what was the case. أن يضرب عنق. The Khalifa instructs us to kill that person. So do we do it or we don't do it? Now look at the trick here. If you say you do it, it means you're giving the justification for Khalifa that he can just say somebody should be killed. If you say don't do it, it means you're telling the people to rebel and not implement the command of the Khalifa. Do you see the problem where it is here? And this is how these people work. I'm explaining this so that you know when he was actually imprisoned and canned, these are the type of people who are around Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. So Abu Hanifa straight away, and this is the amazing thing with Abu Hanifa. He doesn't need to think about this. He said, Ya Abu al-Abbas, he called him by good name, laqab. Amir al-Mu'mineen ya'mur bil-haqq am bil-batil. Send the question back to him. Amir al-Mu'mineen, will he command something which is haqq, which is right, or will he command something which is wrong? Of course, now what will he say? You have to say haqq. He said, قال بالحق. He will only command something بالحق. He said, انفذ الحق حيث كان. Implement the haqq wherever it is. you see how he's come out of it. If it is haq, and I have given the fatwa which is right, but you are the one who will say that Amir al-Mu'minin will never command something except it is haq. وَلَا تَسْأَلْ عَنْهُ, and don't ask any details, since you say that you would only command for something which is haq. ثم قال أبو حنيفة لمن قرب منه, Abu Hanifa said to those who are closer to him, إن هذا أراد أن يوثقني فربطته. He wanted to put me into trouble, but I'm the one who put me into trouble. So this is Abu Hanifa, how he handles the very precarious type of situations. Ibn Abi Layla, as I said yesterday, was one of the Qadi. And also he was not in good terms with Abi Hanifa. You remember yesterday when I talked about this scenario, the situation in Al-Mosul, whether those people who are laid that they will take allegiance, they will obey the rules of Khalifa, and if they don't, they should be killed, their blood is halal. Ibn Abi Layla and Ibn Shibrima say, yes, you are the Khalifa, you can pardon them, but if you want to punish them, you have the haqq. But Abi Hanifa gave a different fatwa. So today now is another issue connected with Ibn Abi Layla. There was a case in Baghdad where a woman, and the people believed that she was a mad woman, she was not okay, she was not sane, told a man, Yabn Zaliyin, O ye son of the two people who committed adultery. That is qaf. In Islam, if you accuse somebody that has committed adultery, you have to bring in the witness, 4 witnesses. If not, then you are killed. Because why should you spoil somebody's name? فأقام عليها الحد في المسجد. Ibn Abi Layla, who was the qadi, to him, he thought it was okay. He punished that lady first in the mosque. And he punished وحدها حدين. He punished her 2 hadd. Because he said, يَبْنَ الزَّانِيِّينَ. So he has done the accusation to the father and to the mother. So he was given canes 2 times. One for the father, one for the mother. فبلغ ذلك أبا حنيفة. Abu Hanifa had it. And Abu Hanifa will never keep quiet. If something is happening like that and it is not right, he will say it in his dars. He said, أخطأ فيها في 6 مواقف. Ibn Abi Layla has gone wrong in this fatwa on 6 counts, 6 issues. First, أقام الحد في المسجد. He punished the individual in the masjid. And hudud, the punishment, are not done in the masjid, outside the masjid. Then the second thing, ضربها قائمة. The lady was caned when she was standing, and women should be caned when they are laying, not standing. والنساء يضربن قعودا when they are sitting down. وضرب لأبيه حدا ولأمه حدا. And he punished for the father and for the mother. And this is not the case. An individual, if he accuses a group of people that they committed adultery with one individual, he is caned only once, just as if it is one individual. So he's not caned for the number of the people. And then he said, and the 2 hadds are not given and not punished at the same time, one at a time to make it easy, not just one after the other. And then he said, and the woman, people say is majnuna, she's a mad woman. So a mad woman, there is no hadd for her. And then he said, the last one, the 6th point, the father and the mother who are accused were not there. They should have been there to accept and to see everything. Now, of course, those are very strong arguments. And this is the trouble of Abi Hanifa. Those who love him will love him so much. Those who hate him will hate him so much because he puts them into a very difficult situation. So Ibn Abi Layla went to the Khalifa and said, this is Abi Hanifa, what he has done. You can see. So Abi Hanifa was stopped from giving fatwa, that you are not allowed from now on to give fatwa. Then at times, the Khalifa had some cases, some issues which were difficult, and sent somebody and said, give him the fatwa. He said, but I am not allowed to give fatwa. I've already been stopped. Then he said, he went back to the Khalifa, and the Khalifa said, I have given him permission to give fatwa. So So these were the dealings between Abi Hanifa and Abi Ja'far al-Mansur. Now, the last issue, which was a difficult one, between Abi Hanifa and Abi Ja'far al-Mansur, I think maybe through his close friends and the qadis and all that, he found now how do we handle this person. And the reason why Abi Ja'far was handling with care, because Abi Hanifa had a lot of popularity in a way that you cannot tag him unless you have mubarrir, you have justification. Some of those people, like any politician, will fear sometimes that somebody who is so popular, unless that person commits something or you con something, you plan something to show everybody that this individual was not as good as what you people think. So what did Abi Ja'far do? He called Abi Hanifa. He told him, I want you to make Qadi al-Qudat, Ra'is al-Qudat, like a chief Qadi. All the cases will come to you. And if there are any issues that people have found it difficult, the Qudat, then it comes to you and you give the fatwa. Abi Hanifa refused. But how did he refuse? He said, Wallahi, I am not somebody who can be relied upon when I am happy to give the fatwa. What about when I am annoyed by the situation? In other words, I may not give the right version or the right fatwa. And then again he said, if I am to be told to do something and give a fatwa against you or your family, I would rather give it the right way, even if I will be put into the river to be killed. And your people who are closer to you will not like that. In other words, what he's telling them, your people want people who are yes men and are not that type. So, la aslu hada. I actually am not fit to be the chief. So, Abi Ja'far insisted and Abi Hanifa insisted that he's not fit. In one of the arguments, not this one, I remember, when it was like that, then Abi Hanifa swore that he will not do the thing, and Abi Ja'far swore, then the person who was there in charge said, how do you swear when the Amir has already taken off? He said, Amir is rich, he has various ways of just nullifying this way. He can give it, he can free a slave easily rather than me. But here, when Abi Ja'far was put into a corner, he got annoyed and he said, you have lied. You are suitable to be the power. So Abi Hanifa said, now you have proved my point. If I have lied, are you going to be allowed to keep a card with somebody who's a liar? I can disagree with it. And of course he was really annoyed, so he said, now you are going to be jailed. And he was jailed, and even cans, in every day more or less 10 cans, it went like that, about 110. Then he was released and was told that, okay, you remain in your house, you don't give fatwa, but also if we have our own fatwa we need, we will bring the case to you. Cases were brought to him to give the fatwa, he refused. So he was brought back and then jailed again with much harsher condition. And all the time when he came, he will be told, will you accept the position of Qadi? He said, La asl, I am not fit for that. Now, ultimately, there are three versions, but I will say which one I support according to Imam Az-Zuhri. There is a version which says that Abi Hanifa was jailed and came quite a number of times, and ultimately he died in the prison. That is one version. There's a second version which says that he was jailed and came, and ultimately when they found this a problem, they poisoned him and he died. But the third version makes more sense according to Imam Az-Zuhri. When I was reading his book, and he brings very valid argument, he said what happened is the third version, and I support it. That Abi Hanifa, when he was jailed for quite a time, of course, he became sick and not well, came every day in a situation he was in the prison and all that. As he was really not well, some of his best friends of Abi Ja'far told him, you better release this man. Don't make it so much and then anything happens to you. he was released on condition. He will not go back to the mosque. He will be confined to the house. He will not give any fatwa, and he remained like that until he died. And this is the fatwa, the verdict which makes the version which makes more sense, because Abi Ja'far was put into a situation that he had to do something to Abi Hanifa. We're not justifying, it's wrong. But at the same time, he was respecting Abi Hanifa, and he was also afraid of the people. So he wouldn't want, even if he dies in the prison under his care. And it is said that the day he died, he prayed outside his public when he was buried. So actually, that was the end of Abi Hanifa, a man who stood very firm for what he believes in, a man who never gave in at all to the authority. And to him, he was feeling that if he agrees to what Abi Ja'far al-Mansur wants, it means he is justifying that system, that government. To him, he said that even Abi Hanifa is the chief hub. It means everything is moving very well. And he feared that there will be a lot of things which are not right. First, people will make the decision. If it is Qur'an, and he has already seen the type of Qur'an, and he was much better in giving the fatwa, then he thought this is going to bring me a lot of problems. I might as well just refuse it, come what may. The reason also Imam Abu Zahra believed in this version is that Abi Hanifa, before he died, he made a wasiyah that he should be buried in the graveyards for the Muslim, but on one specific side which people knew that was a proper plot. The other side of that plot, let's say half of it, was actually grabbed by the Abi Ja'far, according to the narration, that it was just taken. So he said, please don't bury me in the other part of the plot which is not halal. Put me into the plot which was obtained properly. And it is said that there was nobody in Baghdad, because he was buried in Baghdad, who got such a big gathering of the people burying than Abi Hanifa. He said among the people who buried it, there were not less than about 50,000, and all the people were respecting him much more than the Khalifa and other individuals. So this is Abi Hanifa. We will still talk a bit about him for another maybe 2 or 3 sessions before we go to Imam Malik. Ilm Abi Hanifa. Let's touch a bit on the knowledge of Imam Abi Hanifa. Al-ulama, the scholars who were contemporary, who lived with Abi Hanifa, praised Abi Hanifa so much with his ilm. Fudayl ibn Iyad, who was known for his wara, piety, was fearing God, he doesn't just say like that. He said, كان أبو حنيفة رجلا فقيها. Abi Hanifa was a man who was faqih, معروفا بالفقه, well known for his knowledge on fiqh. واسع المال. He was really quite wealthy. Remember we said he was a businessman, and his business was getting him quite a lot of profit. معروفا بالإفضال على كل من يطيف به. Well known for doing good, for giving out to people, all the people who interact with him, that is giving part of his wealth, as we said other time. صبور على تعلم العلم. He was really a very patient individual in trying to get ilm. During the day and night he would be reading. Hasan al-Samt was a very quiet individual, but when it comes to something which is not right, he will speak and speak loudly. Abdullah ibn Mubarak, one of the tabi'in, again a great scholar and a great zahid, he is well known. He said, إِنَّهُ مُخُّ الْعِلْمِ. Abi Hanifa is the core, is the base of knowledge. Core is just like the brain, is the base of knowledge. And then Ibn Jarir, he talked about Abi Hanifa when he started his life first. And then he will say something else when he has become adult. When he started being a faqih, he said, سَيَكُونُ لَهُ فِي الْعِلْمِ شَأْنٌ عَجِيبٌ. He is going, as far as knowledge is concerned, it's going to be surprising how much knowledgeable he's going to be. And after some time he says, إِنَّهُ الْفَقِيهِ إِنَّهُ الْفَقِيهِ. Surely he is faqih. And when you are told he is faqih, it means he understands fiqh and he understands the intricacies of fiqh. And this is, we will talk about it also of his characters. The characteristic of Abi Hanifa was that he will look at the qiyas, he will look at the illah, why this thing was meant to be haram, there is something, what is the reason, and look into it. They say he had an aql, a philosophical type of brain. That is why he was very good in ilm al-kalam, in the discussion and argument. And a lot of mu'asiri, the scholars who lived with him, were saying, كان أبي حنيفة was really عجبا من العجائب. He was really a great surprise to people and a great man in his knowledge. He said whoever disagrees with him, mainly because he doesn't comprehend his argument. So this is Abi Hanifa, definitely loved by so many people, hated equally by quite a number of people who accuse him that he didn't know the hadith, he didn't know this and that. But these are not right accusation. And in any case, the stand of us Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, every individual could be very virtuous, very blessed, very knowledgeable, and definitely he may make mistakes here and there, and those mistakes are accepted and forgiven, because a mujtahid, if he does a mistake, he gets 1 thawab. If he is right, he gets 2 thawabs. So this is actually Abi Hanifa. What made Abi Hanifa, the characters he had to make him what he is? There are about 3 or 4 characters. 1, his own characters by himself. He was a very bright individual. He was very patient. He will not get annoyed easily in the argument, and we'll give those examples inshallah tomorrow. You cannot provoke him so that he loses the focus. He will remain focused and he will not lose his temper. You know, when you argue and you lose your temper, that's what the lawyers like usually. You can say things which are not right. So for him, he will still be calm, and whatever he says, he will not make a statement where you can catch him that he was wrong. That is one. The second thing, it is al-muwajjihun, the type of people he met, the type of people who are his shuyukh, who is scholars, the type of people who are guiding, like Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman. That is another one, because he got very good, we will talk about his teachers. And then the third one, which is also very important, al-asr, the period he was living. Remember I said that Abi Hanifa and the 4 Imams was the one born early because he was the first 80 Hijri. So he was in the Gili Sahaba. Khairukum qarni, the best one of you is mine generation or my century, the century of Sahaba. Even though they were fading, they were moving out, but he met about 10 Sahabas or so. So it was the jinn, the best jinn. And a man is a product of his environment. That is why Rasulullah says, "Kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra." Every individual who is born on the fitra, is born on Islam. فَإِمَّا أَبَوَاهُ يحوداني أو يمجساني أو ينصراني. It is his father. The father is the environment, which either makes him to be a Jew, either makes him to be a Christian, or makes him to be a Zoroastrian. All of us are a product of where we are born. That is why one has really to try and control the environment where your child is exposed to. Sometimes it is difficult. For example, like us now, we have more challenges. This was the Jil of Sahaba which has finished, but the Jil of Tabi'een. And Jil of Tabi'een is the second best generation. So definitely, he had a very good atmosphere. And he was in Kufa. Kufa was the center of knowledge, center of controversy, where the Shias were there, where the Khawarij were there, where the Mu'tazila were there, closer to it in Basra. So he made various types of things. And the more you meet the challenges as alim, the more you are refined. The more you are in an environment of yes men, the more actually, you may not know much, because you're not arguing much, you're not challenged. The more an individual is challenged, you either fail or you become a better person at least later on, because you have been challenged. you will find that the lecturers who like to teach and they don't want people to ask the question, sometimes they pretend they are really hard. It's because they are not sure of the subject. If you are sure of the subject, you give your last 10 minutes or so time for the questions and you satisfy the people. At least if you are defeated completely, you say that, give me time, now I'm in a hurry, whatever, but next week, once I come for my lecture, I will answer you. So this was Abi Hanifa, a great man. Inshallah, we will talk about Sifat Abi Hanifa tomorrow, his characters. More or less the same, his characters and how he managed the people who are arguing with him. We will give quite a few examples of various types of people who came, some of them to insult him in his face, and how he reacted. And these people, almost after some time, asked or apologized to Abi Hanifa. And then finally, we will talk about his shuyukh, really the people who taught Abi Hanifa to be what he was. It is said that Abi Hanifa will never accept anything unless he is convinced. And Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman, being his major teacher, knew that. Even his sheikh, he will tell him something, he will argue with him until he really puts it into himself and he accepts. And he will argue quite a lot. The same thing with his students. He has Abu Yusuf, he had Al-Hassan al-Shaybani, and they will argue, and ultimately, in most cases, it will be Abu Hanifa who comes up with his version, which is accepted by his student, and these were great students, not just ordinary students, but it's because he was tougher and brighter than his student, as usually is the case. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.